before I started the program, I think that I had, on some level, unconsciously decided that this was just not the program for me because I had so much weight to lose, and also I was so unfit and mobility issues, and etc. I guess I was just so overwhelmed with what it was that I needed to do that I just ignored it, and anytime anybody mentioned it to me, I don't even remember anybody ever mentioning it. So at some point I finally realized that both my parents lived in their 80s and 90s, and I'm likely, even though I'm 61 now, I'm likely to have another 30 years, and I don't want to spend the rest of my life, that last 25 years or so, in a nursing home. That scared me. So I started talking to the doctor and to the staff, and they suggested that we can modify this program for whatever you need, whatever works for you. And so I went ahead and signed up and started. And the first thing you do is you get a blood test, and I found out that I was pre-diabetic, and that scared me. I realized that that's something I can do something about, and I just wasn't going to let it happen. So at that point, it was less an issue of, am I going to spend my life in a nursing home, and more an issue of how can I be healthy for the rest of my life, more of a positive view on it. So the program requires a lot of planning. You have to plan your meals, you have to plan time to be able to do your exercise, you have to have planned time in for your meditation. And so given that I've always had jobs that requires a lot of planning, I just jumped right in with that part. And the doctor recommended early on that I stick with the week 1 program, which basically is low carb and no refined sugars. And that scared me. I thought, oh my God, how am I going to be able to do that? But fairly quickly I was able to pick up and be able to do that. The meal planning was a little hard, but I didn't have any cravings or anything like that, so that was good. I told my family, I told my friends, I told the people I work with. I wanted everybody to know what I was doing, why I was doing it, and they were able to give me a lot of support along the way. They were able to help me celebrate wins and help me when I felt like my progress had slowed down a little bit. And about 3 months into the program, life happened. The house I was living in was sold. I had to find a new place to live, downsize, get everything moved, all on my own. And so I lost some of my discipline, and my weight loss kind of slowed down a little bit. And so I was a little bit on the discouraged side, and so the doctors and the staff, again, gave me the advice that I needed, what I should do to keep going. And again, they helped me celebrate any kind of wins that I had. And I sort of looked at them, everybody in the staff in the clinic, as being my team members and helping me to get to my goals. And of course, I was the one that had to do the work, but it's so much easier to do it when you have people who are supporting you. You have to go into a program with the plan that the way you adjust your eating for the program needs to be sustained throughout the rest of your life. And originally I thought, well, I would start eating the bread and rice and etc. again, but in smaller amounts. Well, as I got used to it after 6 months in, if you haven't eaten any of that in that period of time, suddenly you have a new eating style. And so I've gotten to the point that I'm very happy with that, and I go out and I look for recipes, and I'm satisfied with that part a lot. Well, as I got to the end of the program, which became 5 8-week sessions, I got to my goal weight, and so then the doctor and the trainer both have started helping me to work on what are my long-term strategies going to be, my eating patterns, continuing the adjustments, which I've also been getting for a long time, continuing the exercise, the training, and I think that that's really going to help me to be able to maintain. That's what I was worried about as the program started getting. As I got closer to my goal weight, I was worried about how I was going to continue, and now I have a plan for that. And I guess if I was to go back and talk to myself before I started the program, what are the kinds of things would I recommend? And the first one is you really need to plan ahead. You don't want to find yourself on a Friday night with no food in the house that you can eat. You want to make sure that you shop on the weekend or whenever you do it, you shop ahead to make sure that every meal is covered in all your snacks, and there's nothing in the house, or very little in the house, that you can't eat. If you have other people living with you, that might be a little harder, but you want to make sure that you're set up for success. And you plan ahead for your exercise, you plan ahead for drinking the water that you need to drink, you pay attention to it throughout the day. And I think discipline was probably the number one recommendation, and the second one is set up the people around you to help you, as your support system to help you get your success.
April, what weight did you start this program at?
230 pounds.
Where are you now?
138. So I had a lot to lose, and I did it.
Congratulations.